Hello everyone and welcome to my corner of the world. Today I'm going to share another technique using the Stamparatus, and that's to create this pretty garland. This is a fairly simple one. You're just using 4 impressions, and as I say, we're going to use the Stamparatus, and I'm also using the perennial birthday stamp set. And the reason I'm using this one is that it's got lots of little images, which are just perfect for this particular technique. So the first thing I'm going to do is to make myself like a little jig. And so I've got some card here. This is the backing card from the designer series paper, and as you can see, I've actually cut 2 squares out of it. And how I did that was I got my piece of card, and with a ruler I went corner to corner, which allowed me to find the center of my piece of card. I then took the largest square. This is the plain square from the layering squares die set, and then what I did was that I lined it up so that my corners were in line with my pencil corners, and then I ran it through the big shot, and then that gave me my 1 square, and then I was able to then position this so that everything was like halfway between these other points, and allowed me to cut out my other point. So basically I got a square and then I got these little points. So I don't need to use that. You can see I did some practicing on here, but that is my jig, and you can use that time and time again. So then we've got the Stamparatus, and because I am using 4 little stamps, I'm using both of my plates, and my little positioning tool, my jig, is already set in there, and it's got the magnet to hold it down, and I'm just using the base of the Stamparatus with just some of the grid paper on top to protect it. So the first thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to make myself a mask, and this will help when I start to build up my picture. And I'm only going to make 1 mask because that makes it so much simpler to do the design. So my mask is going to be this one here. Oh, can't see it, can you? Sorry. My mask is going to be this image here, and it's this one on the card here. And I'm just going to roughly see where it falls there. And I've got a piece of scrap paper here, and with my first colour, which is Pool Party for this card, I'm just going to make my mask, and then just with a pair of paper snips I'm just going to roughly cut round it. It doesn't have to be particularly carefully done, and this is the reason I've chosen this particular image to make the mask of, because it's kind of an oval, and so there's my mask there. So I'll set it aside so I don't lose it. So now I'm got a square of card, and this has been cut with the die that I used to make my little jig here. And I'm going to start by putting it in so that it's, if you like, square to me, and I'm going to ink up my stamp, and then I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to move it round so that this piece remains square onto me, not diamond shape. So then I'm going to do my next one. So as I say, this is a very simple form of doing the garland, and you can build up a very pretty pattern really quickly for your card. So those are my 4 in the pool party. So my next colour is going to be powder pink, and I've set up my stamp on the other side of my plate, and all I did to set it up was to just pick it up and position it where I liked it on the card, and then swung this over and picked it up. So I know that as many of these as I do, these are always going to be in the same place. So now I'm going to do the pink, and I wanted these to sort of be a little bit of a swirl in the middle. So I'm going to continue having my card square onto me like that, and pick this up and just turn it around 90 degrees. And then the last one, and I've managed to get ink on there. Maybe I'll be able to cover that up with something. See, I managed to get a little boo-boo there. Never mind. There. So can you see it's kind of a bit of a spiral, which is the look I was going for. Now I'm going to do the leaf. So I've already got my leaf set up on my plate here, and this is where I'm going to bring in my mask, and I'm going to now switch this piece round so it's sort of as a diamond shape to me. Okay, and I'm going to position my little mask so that, let me just see which one it's going to hit first. So it's going to hit this one first, and I'm going to place it over there so that my leaf, if you look, is actually going to cross over the edge of that flower. So this will stop it getting inked in the wrong place. So this one I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz. I'm just going to bring it over and press. And then when I take my little mask off, you'll see that it looks as though it's tucked underneath the flower. So now I'm going to move it round, and this time I'm going to have the diamond, keep the diamond shape all the way round. So I'm just going to put my little mask back on here. Now you can use like a post-it note and to hold it down, but I find that, you know, as long as you are careful, you don't really need to stick it down. So I've just used a piece of paper. So I'm going to pick this up, and again I'm keeping it to me as a diamond, and I'm going to pop this back on, ink up, oh, and it's escaped, and then again the diamond, and put my little mask down. And finally ink that piece up. And there's all my leaves. And then my final image is this little flower here, and that's in Berry Burst. So again, I've got that positioned on the other side of my panel here. And again, it's going to come down here. So I'm going to leave my little mask there because that's exactly where it's going to hit. So there we go. So again, we're going to keep it so that it's a diamond shape. I'm going to pop my little mask back down. And there, and just a couple more. And then my final one is here. So with more masking, you can build up more complex patterns. But as I say, I just wanted to introduce you to the idea of a garland with some simple masking. So there we have our finished little garland, and I'm just going to put my pen in there just to keep all of that ink away from the base. Pop it over here, out of the way. And so to just finish my card, I've chosen a couple of the colours from my ink selection. So I'm using Berry Burst and Pool Party. So I cut this backing piece out with the scalloped square from the same set as this one, so that it gives me the layers, the close cropped layers that I was looking for. So I'm just going to attach that with some liquid adhesive. And I like to use liquid adhesive because it gives me some wiggle room, so I can actually make sure that this is evenly layered on the on the card, like that. And then I'm simply going to attach a piece of Whisper White onto my base card like this, and I'm going to leave that plain so everything pops out. And then I have some Pool Party here, and I'm just going to put a bow or some ribbon around the bottom. This is how I attach my ribbon. I'm just going to pop like that and pick that up so I can see. And I have another video on how I do my bows and my faux knots and everything. And then I'm going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals, and to make sure that that ribbon doesn't move, I'm going to stick some dimensionals over it. I could put some adhesive tape. Normally I would do that, but to be quick, I'm going to do it this way. And take off the backing here. And then I'm going to center this up on my piece of white. And then this, I'm also going to put some dimensionals on the back. So I'm going to put 4 on the back here. Now, on my other ones, I've put it on square, but you know, I'm looking at this thinking, well, maybe I'm going to put it on that way. Oh yes, I like that. Gosh, that looks really good. Okay, there was an inspiration. I already tied myself a little bow, and I'm going to pop that on with a glue dot. Use my take your pick tool here, which is really handy. Oh yes, I really do like this one. And then for my final embellishments, I've got some glimmer dots. Now these are melon Mambo, but they are a perfect match for this. So I'm going to go ahead and use these, and again I'm using the putty end of my take your pick tool, and I'm going to ease that off like that and position it smack bang in the middle there, and then a couple of pearls. I think I just put some pearls on those little sort of berry pieces there. And I'm not even going to put a greeting on this one. I think there's enough going on without the greeting as well. And there we go. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this technique. It's really fun to do with the Stamparatus. As I say, you can get more complex ones, and in due course I will produce a video on that. But more details on the dimensions of all my cardstock will be on my blog, and there's a link to that immediately beneath this video. And there's also a link there to my online store where you can buy the supplies so you can have a go at the technique yourself. Well, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate your time. Bye for now.